It follows by Mikemallow. Have you ever had the feeling like you were being watched, but when you turned around to see, there was no one there? Well, I've been having that issue non-stop for a little under a week now. I live alone in a small townhouse, only 1 floor and 5 rooms. I'm a software engineer, so I don't get out much, but I've experienced the feeling even when I'm home. I've decided to help keep myself sane. I'd write about it. Well, that's what my therapist suggested. She claims I'm having a minor psychotic episode, caused by loneliness or lack of human contact, that has caused me to become paranoid. I think she's full of ST, and someone's out to get me, but I guess that just proves her point. I spend most of my time in my room, since that's where my computer is. I'm either working on developing new software for my company, or sleeping. But occasionally I go out. I have to get groceries somehow. I went out today. I had run out of milk, so I made a quick stop by my local convenience store. On the walk there, I knew I was being watched. I could feel their eyes on me, but as usual, whenever I would spin around to look at them, I'd be alone. I wasn't just being watched though. This time, I was being followed as well. I could hear the bushes around me rustling every now and then, and there was no breeze that would have caused that. I feel like I should say, I do not suffer from any mental illness. I was never diagnosed or had any possible signs until this point. I would go see a therapist to talk about work-related stresses. Since I work in a competitive environment, it was company mandated. I just decided since she was there, I should tell her about me being watched and see if she could have helped. Well, hopefully writing helps. When I got home, I noticed small scratches on the bottom on my door, around the height of my knees. They must have been left there by some crazy runaway dog. I woke this morning to a chill wind blowing through my open window. I shut the window every night before bed, so I knew it was closed when I went to sleep. There was this sickening smell that accompanied the wind. It smelled like gasoline and burning rubber. As soon as the smell hit me, I threw up. I shut the window and went to clean up. That's when I noticed the small scratches along my windowsill and across my blankets. I felt sick to my stomach. Something was in my room last night. I didn't have a scratch on my body, but I was still scared for my life. After the fear had dedicated, I made a call to the police. I told them that I felt like I was being watched and about the scratches. They told me to get a window lock and not to leave my garbage out. They said it was just a raccoon, or a cat maybe. Idiots. The whole time I was installing the locks, I was being watched. Whatever was in my room last night, was out there now, watching me. What is it, and what the hell does it want? I sent my therapist an email, telling her about the scratches and it coming in my window, but she just told me that I was letting my psychosis get the best of me and I was imagining all this. She told me to try and keep my mind off it, so I decided to call a few of my friends over. Playing some games and drinking will help. It didn't. The entire time they were over, I kept glancing out the windows looking for whatever was watching me, whatever was following me, stalking me, terrorizing me. They could tell something was wrong, but I guess they didn't care to ask. When everyone was leaving, and I was walking them all to their cars, I could see this shadow darting around the bushes. It was the same thing that's been following me. I hurried inside after everyone drove off. I didn't want to be outside any longer. It's starting raining, so hopefully that keeps the thing away from me. I woke up on my own today, no open window, and no foul smell. Thank God. But there were fresh scratches on my window and underneath were a pair of footprints, that were anything but human. I took a picture on my phone just to be safe. I scoured the internet, but concluded that these didn't belong to any animal, whatever the hell it was tried to get in last night. Thank God for the window lock. I want to call the police again, and show them the picture, but I doubt they would believe me. Plus I'd have to go to the station to show them the picture and I feel a lot safer inside. I didn't leave the house at all. I just sat at home and tried my best not to think about what was very obviously watching me. I don't understand how I constantly have the feeling of being watched, but I can never see what it is. Part of me is grateful, but at the same time, my curiosity needs to be quenched. I decided to set up a camera outside. I had an old webcam, so I put it on the fence that borders my house. I set it up to face my bedroom window so that way if it tries to get in again, I'll have proof to show the cops and I'll know exactly what it is. I've had the camera set up for about a week now, and it hasn't caught much more than a few shadows darting around. I haven't noticed any fresh scratches or any more sets of footprints. The burning rubber and gasoline smell still lingers along with the feeling of being watched, but other than that I think I'm more or less in the clear. The camera must have made the thing stay away, it must not want to be seen. I emailed my therapist and told her this. She's glad to see I'm doing better but says that perhaps setting up the camera was playing into my psychosis, and it may seem to be helping but not to overreact if it catches anything. When I do actually get to see what this is, I'll show her. I was woken up in the middle of the night by my window being smashed. I remember screaming and thrashing. I could feel something on me. The smell of burning rubber and gasoline filled my room. I flailed wildly against the dark figure on top of me, my cries being dampened by its fleshy palm as it forced me down. I shook violently, out of panic and sheer terror. I felt its sharp nails dig into me through the blankets as I fought against its immense strength. Due to the darkness and the panic, I didn't really get a good look at what was on me, but it couldn't have been more than 4 feet tall, and it was very thin. It made this horrid screeching noise and then tore back through the now shattered window. I went straight to my computer, tears streaming down my bloodied face. I had to check the camera footage to see what it was. I needed proof before I ran away. The video didn't show anything, not until the end. The picture went all fuzzy for a few seconds and when it came back the window was already shattered. I couldn't see properly in my room due to the darkness but I could make out my frantic struggles. Then the picture quality went fuzzy again, but at the very last frame I managed to freeze it and see the creature as it ran out of my room. It must have broken the camera because all recording stopped at that point. I saved the video to my hard drive, removed it and locked myself in the bathroom until morning. I don't remember much else from that night. Mostly I spent the time shaking and crying. I'm not afraid to say that, I was almost murdered by some monster. The police told me I was some scammer, that I used some internet program to make the video and smashed my own window to claim the insurance. My therapist told me to stop bothering her with my nonsense, that if I wasn't going to help myself then she was no longer going to help me. I know what I saw and I never want to see anything like that again, so I'm leaving. I don't have any money but I'll find a way to make it. I just know I can't be here anymore. I've been living fine for almost 3 years. I've got a wife and a kid now. My life was finally normal, and I was happy. All until this morning when I noticed the unmistakable smell of burning rubber and gasoline. The smell alone sent waves of terror through my body. I never told my wife about the thing that attacked me. I didn't want her to think I was some crazy person like everyone else did. But when she told me she felt like someone was watching her, I knew I had to tell her because it was happening again.